One time I did this.
Okay, she graduates next year. She graduates, yeah, she graduates next year. Let me show you. Take your time.
All right, thank you all again for coming out tonight. My name is Janelle McGregor. I'm the Community Partnership Manager for the City of Tampa, and I truly do want to thank you all on behalf of Mayor Castor for coming out tonight. Mayor Castor does send her regrets. She cannot be here. She's currently at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, where she's connecting with mayors across the nation to bring back valuable resources and information to our community. The mayor wanted me to share with all of you that she has listened to your concerns quite intently, whether they were from the podium at City Council or through personal conversations you've had with her. And she has heard you, and she has taken your message quite seriously. Although she can't be here with us tonight, she does have this message to share.
Hi, Mayor Jane here. As your mayor, I want to make sure the sun shines on all of our Tampa neighborhoods and in all of our parks. Fair Oaks Park is an established jewel in East Tampa that's been in our community for generations. Unfortunately, over the years, this park's fallen through the cracks. While other neighborhood parks saw renovation, Fair Oaks Park was placed on the back burner for far too long. Now it's time we change that. I'm dedicating capital improvement resources to this park ahead of our Tampa Parks and Rec Master Plan. My hope is that together we can restore Fair Oaks Park into a place where our kids want to play, and a place where the East Tampa community can create new memories for generations to come. I want to thank each and every one of you for your attendance this evening and for providing your valuable input into what we need here at the Fair Oaks Park. Thank you all.
So although the mayor can't join us here tonight, it's still important that this conversation be had. And with us tonight from the City of Tampa, we have Interim CRA Director Michelle Van Loan. If you could please wave so everyone can see you. Ed Johnson, the East Tampa CRA Manager. Detective Rod Glider, who's the environmental investigator for East Tampa. I guess I drank too much coffee before I came in here. Brad Suter, the Parks and Rec Director here. We also have Sharisha Hills, who's the Parks and Rec Manager. Sharisha, she's bringing some chairs in for us. And I'd be remiss if I did not recognize the dedicated staff here at Fair Oaks. Kareem Collins, Bishop Cummings, Russell Johnson, Alex Toledo, and Shantae Davis, who you'll see around. Now I'd like to turn it over to our Parks and Rec Director, Mr. Paul Dodd.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone being here this evening. I just want to go back and give a little history of being here this evening and the process that is going on from here. The Parks and Recreation Department was asked by the CRA board. We have three of our council members, Councilman Goods, Councilman Carlson, and Councilman Citro, that are here this evening. And the CRA board had asked Parks and Recreation to come forward to speak to the history of the Fair Oaks property, because there were some comments that were stated in the community with a belief or a perception that dollars had been allocated for some improvements of a capital improvement to the park here, and that the dollars had been shifted to another location. So we had to go back and research that, and I wanted to provide that information to where we give you factually actually what has taken place with this over time. And we're just doing a short presentation, myself and Brad Suter. Brad is in charge of our capital projects. and he'll be speaking to the building condition and moving forward from here. But to give you a little history first with this, we were asked, we came before the CRA board on December 12th, 2019, this past December, and we provided this presentation, and then again, they asked us to bring that here to the community to make you all aware as well with that.
Excuse me, sir.
And
We
if
was
we could finish
intending to
the
meet the mayor, so y'all can postpone this here so that we can talk with the mayor directly.
Sir,
No.
we'll move forward here. Thank you very much. So just a couple of pictures of letting you see the Fair Oaks Park. You're very familiar with it here at the location of the aerial view and the building itself here. Again, the history of the funding of the park, if we go back to December of 2008, and in December 2008, description was created by Parks and Rec for potential demolition of the existing structure, the structure we see here, and construction of a new 10,000 square foot community center. The preliminary cost of that was $3.62 million. The project was looked at and reviewed, but it was not awarded, it was not voted on it was not a presented capital project, nor was it funded in the budget at any point. It was a discussion point like many other projects at that time. In August of 2009, scope of work for renovation improvements through a job order contract program for improvements to the multi-purpose room, restroom, hallways, weight room were completed in 2009. The cost of those improvements was $63,000, so a capital project of replacing the building was not done at that time, but some improvements were made to the tune of about $63,000 in August of 2009. In 2010, the Contract Administration Department conducted a civil engineering work for a park survey and assessment of a new center and other improvements at a cost of $10,000 to study that. That was in 2010 that was completed. In 2011, again, there were public meetings requested by the community to discuss potential improvements, conceptual plans, and based on community input. And again, we were back to, if we're building a new facility, it was $3.9 million was the estimate at that time. And that was for the entire park. 1.7 of that was for the community center. Fair Oaks project was put out from the department as one of the potential projects across the city. It was there as a potential project. It was not an approved item. It was part of a discussion. And in fact, at that year, Fair Oaks project was one of 27 projects across the city that were submitted for consideration by Parks and Recreation through their 5-year capital budget cycle, and the project was not funded. So I think the important thing here just to be aware of is it's been discussed at times, many times in the past, but the money was not funded and approved for the project. And then in the summer of 2013, then many interior and exterior improvements were completed. Parks and Recreation did $33,000 worth of improvements, logistics and asset management improvements to the tune of about $300,000 in 2013. So that was done by dollars within the operating budget and improvements there, but it was not a capital project. So I think the likelihood is a lot of people, there's been a lot of discussion about building a new facility, but it was never a funded project. So when some people thought that money might have moved to another park, another project, it really didn't, because it wasn't funded. It was discussed many times, but we want to just make sure you know factually that there wasn't money that was approved in the budget and sitting there for a project here, and then it got transferred to another location. So wanted to make sure that was clear, and that's the history. Whether or not you agree or not, whether or not you would like that to have been the case, we just want to give you factually what had taken place with that. 2013, council requested a report from Parks and Recreation through the chief staff as to why funding was not allocated to Fair Oaks for the 2012 to 16 CIP cycle. There was a discussion about it again at that time, but again, it was not funded. So The biggest point of all this is this last point right here. And through Revenue and Finance, it has verified that no capital projects for new facility have been approved for Fair Oaks Park. In the past 7 years, there have been nothing, and actually through that span that we went through from 2008. So, once you know the history of where we are, it's not to say that we can not feel that it should have been, at this time. And I think there's a lot of people that feel that way, and we'll have a discussion today. And I do want to say that we're using the microphone here to speak to you. We want to make sure that this is recorded tonight, because we are working a master plan process across the city, a comprehensive master plan. And we want to make sure that we have the comments from you all, so that we have a consultant board that's looking across the city and looking at this location for what improvements are here. We want to make sure that information is provided to the consultant as they're planning for the future for the park. So I would ask that when we come to point after our short presentation, anyone that has comments, we would ask that you come forward one at a time and come to the microphone, so that I'm being recorded now. Your comments will be as well, because we want that information to go forward and to be noted, so that our consultants and everyone working on the project hears what the concerns are from the community. So we'd ask you to, comments from the group are not going to be recorded from there, so we ask you to come forward and do those one at a time when the time comes. All right, at the point this year, the CRA board had also asked us, in addition to looking at the funding history of this, is to look at what is the condition of this facility. And so we have done that. Brad Suter has done that, and also looking at capital development. So I'm going to turn it over to Brad at this point.
Good evening. And again, thank you so much for coming out. These meetings and your comments are vitally important to us to hear what you have to say tonight. Similar to a series of master plan meetings that we had, this is a little bit more site specific. We've been here before. We've rallied for you before. We've just fell a little short, and we all apologize for that. We put in the request for improvements here, and we're going to go again. And I think we have, what you heard from the mayor's message, is there's a little bit more strength right now as far as doing something here. She's committed to resources as well as assessment. So on the overall, it was requested to look at this building. Overall, this building is essentially in good shape, but there are improvements that can be made to this building. Hear me out, please. I'm going to talk through it all. Just very brief, and then we're going to turn the floor over to you guys, I promise. But there are some things that can be improved even with this building. The reception desk area could do a great makeover, and that'll help with security as well as check-in, check-out, to make sure that kids arrive safely and depart safely. The flooring's aging. We can do some new VCT flooring throughout. New carpet in the multi-purpose rooms. Remove the metal grates over the buildings and put in new windows that are impact resistant. It's a little tough. It's not really a desirable look from my perspective, from a design professional, to have kids and the adults look out through metal grates throughout the day. And even from the street, we could do some beautifications. It's not up here, but some beautification efforts to make this a more welcoming building visually from the street. The kitchen cabinets could be replaced. The doors leading outside from the facility, some of them are showing signs of rust. Those could certainly be replaced immediately. Minor repairs to the walls. Some painting needs to be on some of the door frames and throughout. And some repairs in the computer lab, as well as some natural light control. It's real tough to work in a computer lab with some natural light coming in. It makes it a little bit difficult to see, wears you out a little bit on your eyes a little bit. And a few ceiling tiles here and there should be replaced. So that's just a very look of this building. The assessment from the grounds is essentially almost the same. It's okay. Is it great? No. A lot of the sidewalks, a lot of the sand and dirt has eroded. The grass has died. There needs to be improvements there to help with the safety of ankle turns if you happen to step off the sidewalk. Restripe the parking lot, power wash, clean this place up a little bit. We've done some repainting of the foursquare, and the basketball court is in need of resurfacing. We did put in for a grant. We're waiting to hear if we're going to receive that grant, and we should know that shortly. The improvements I just mentioned are going to range from $150,000 to $200,000. if we were to replace the existing facility. This facility is 7,385 square feet. The current cost, and planning cost and construction cost of what we are seeing at the city is $400 a square foot. I know it seems high, but that's the reality of what our bids are coming in at right now in the city. So with the formula, 7,385 times 400, plus the consultant fee and plus or minus 20%, which is a little high, we're talking about $3.5 million to duplicate this facility as it is right now. If we kept this facility, upgraded the upgrades we talked about, and expanded on this facility, again, depending on the square foot expansion, it's about every 1,000 square feet is a $400,000 price tag. So you can see this, 5,000 square foot expansion could be $2 million. That's 5,000 square feet on top of the 73 you already have. There's already going to be 12,000 square foot facility to be able to get a lot of programming in here. So with that said, we're about to turn this over. I'm going to turn this back to Paul for just a minute to talk about the master plan process. Some of these improvements, the city is geared up to make some improvements ahead of the master plan process, so don't think that we're going to hear from you and then put this into the master plan bag and just wait forever, because we're ready to do some things.
I do want to talk about, I think we're really looking at two issues here. One is, what are we looking at short term? Of looking at what improvements can be made, and I think you heard from the mayor's message, and I know the CRA board has been very concerned of what can we do short term to make the center a better, more enjoyable place for people to use. The second part of this is that we are in the middle of, we're just not in the middle, we're just beginning a dynamic, comprehensive master plan process for the entire city, to look at the entire city of parks that are needed and what improvements are needed, so that we have a plan, so that we're not just always knee-jerk reacting to anything, that we see where the needs are, where the populations are, where the issues are. And that has begun, and we had 8 public meetings in November and December, 2 per district, that we had already in the community to hear from folks, and hopefully some of you all were involved in some of those to give your comments. We are now about to have the consultant come on board. We have, a committee has made a recommendation of a firm to do the work, and one of the things they're going to be charged with is the community outreach, to hear from the people in the community on that. So that has just begun, and as that consultant comes on board, they're going to be charged with going out and getting the public input. So I encourage everyone here that after we meet tonight, to be involved with the public process and give your comments during that master plan process, so people hear, that the consultant hears what the needs are that you see for the community for this location or any other facility that's in the city. It's not just looking at one park, it's looking across the system. So that will be coming up this year, and we want to make sure that you're involved with that. At this point, we're going to turn it over to hear from you all, and Janelle is going to kind of start that process for us.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you all again for coming out and packing this room. It definitely shows the need for this conversation tonight. I'd like to introduce our council members. We have Councilman Orlando Goods, Councilman Bill Carlson, and Councilman Joe Citro. Now, before we turn it over to public comment, we do want to ask that everybody kind of keep their comments to 2 minutes, because we do have so many different voices to be heard tonight. And also, because we have our council members here, they're not going to be able to discuss this matter or comment on anything that you may say because of sunshine law.
Good evening. It's just another form of taxation without representation. We pay taxes just like every other facility.
mic she got?
No. That's good, that's mine.
Yeah, yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. Just start my 2 minutes back over though.
Got it?
Definitely want my 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah. It's not a knee-jerk situation. I'm 44 years old. I played at the same building when it was the Bandits. Now, any facility that's been built that long need a lot more than Band-Aids. You know what I'm saying? So, again, another taxation without representation. We come up last. City Hall this morning had a diagram. We go down there and fight every day. Just like you're gonna hire someone else to come in and say something. Y'all hired them this morning, come down to City Hall and explain how the black and brown community are always at the last, and it showed today that we still at the bottom, worse than we was 40 years ago, man. So we refuse to take any more Band-Aids. It will not heal the wound. The only thing gonna heal the wound around here is a pure demolition and rebuild with high-tech technology and state-of-art so that our kids are prevalent and no longer left behind. And you wouldn't accept it from your kids, so don't allow our kids to think we're gonna accept it for ours. You know this is very unacceptable. You said it yourself. It should have been had attention over the years not coming up. Look at Channel Side, look at Waterworks, look at Riverfront. All that money come up and down through here, and we get nothing over and over again. We refuse to accept any type of wooden nickel you handing out tonight.
What part of town you live in?
Hey, the reality is that this city have a history of placing African people on the back burner. And we always see it as a bunch of tricks. It's a bunch of tricks when they want us to vote for tax incentives. It was tricks when they wanted us to vote for the Buccaneers and add on a penny tax, a half-cent tax, and all these other things. And another reality is they spent $38 million on Riverfront Park while they were driving the community out. There's nobody over there of African historic nature that makes any, it really don't even look like the West Tampa community anymore. And when you said knee-jerk reaction, this isn't a knee-jerk reaction. That's an insult. It's an insult to African people to even have that language. And you talk about resurfacing a basketball court, you talk about rusting doors, you talk about we don't need that. 38 million in Riverfront Park, we need a new building. This is the last African community left in Tampa, period. We have no Robles Park, we have no Central Park, we know where Robles Park's getting ready to go. We have no West Tampa, we have no Carver City, we have nothing. We have no Lincoln Gardens. This is the last African community left. And for our young people, and for our senior citizens, and for our middle-aged individuals, we need this center rebuilt so at least the people that's here right now and the people that will be here, because we have to think in terms of gentrification, the people that will be here, if it's in the next 15 years, 20 years, at least we'll see something to inspire us to say, hey, look, like we love our community, and this is where we want to be.
Good evening. My name is Regina Virgil. I'm the coordinator for East Hillsborough Heights Crime Watch, not a neighborhood association. I want to thank you for coming and presenting your proposal this evening. I don't want to say ditto what they are saying, but I want to say that I would want to wait till the next budget come out to get all that we really need to have done. This is a Band-Aid. You didn't address my rumors. I've heard rumors of mold in this building or other stuff going on in business. You didn't even address that. I don't even know if it's true. I just wanted to address, like you did, the funding got shifted to another area. You addressed that, but you didn't address the mold rumors and other stuff. So in order to get all that, I don't know about rats either, sir. But I know this, that we would get what we want if we wait for the next budget, which is in October. And this is a high priority on the mayor's list. It didn't become a high priority on the mayor's list when certain people went down to council and vilified them a couple of months ago and weeks ago. It was already on the mayor's list. We were already high on her list. It was no need to vilify council with this. It was already on her list to do this. We just had to be patient. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I beg to disagree. As I said, we were already high on her list. If he had you come to the meeting, the Crime Watch meeting, it's nice to have all these people here today, but had you come to Crime Watch meeting when the mayor came, you would have saw that. Thank you. I appreciate your efforts, sir, but this is just a Band-Aid again. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ernest Johnson. I live at 2119 East Nedrow Road. And this entire building, despite mold, rats, it need to be tore down. When you go out to West Chase, Palms, and all of those places, it's beautiful. We need the highest technology that you can muster in this facility for our children and our elderly and our seniors. We need a kitchen here that's world class where our seniors can have breakfasts and lunch. They can actually utilize and use this building. This whole community, this whole infrastructure was built on the taxes everybody in this room paid that's black. Everybody in this room paid poll tax, purchase tax, property tax, service tax, and we give it to the Buccaneers. We need it right here. We need this building tore down where our children can stop running the street, when they can come here and watch movies, where they can come here and get after school or recreation instead of standing out there sitting under the tree laughing and playing and crying. We ain't crying no more. We ain't begging no more. All these pennies and nickels and dimes, that's it. 38 million on Rovers over there at Riverfront Park. Palm Avenue is so bright you can see it from space. I remember Palm Avenue when it was the darkest place on earth when blacks lived there. Now you done move white people in there in $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 a month apartments, and that's the bright. You can see it from space. You can see it from space. We need that same attention right here, and we ain't asking for it. We demand it. We tired of playing.
What y'all got in y'all neighborhood? You ain't got to settle for anything. We don't have to settle for anything. No more.
I am Minister Ornita Ford, and I'm here concerning Alpha L. Barnes Park. I have taken up petitions ever since 2008, 2009. I am the voice in the Jackson Heights community, and I've been to all of the meetings. I've been doing this and I've been doing that, and I was told, I talked to the manager of the Park and Recreation Center. He called me back and told me that it had been approved to put a building on Alpha L. Bond Park. The money, he said, is there. So I'm here tonight to find out what is going on, because I will not stop until something is done. We don't even have a park. We don't even have a building over there. And our young people doesn't have any place to go. Our senior citizen doesn't have any place to go. Our young children are running the street. The parents won't let them go to the park because there's no one there to work the park. So I'm here tonight to find out what is going to be done with Al Barnes Park. I was told that the money has been approved to put a facility on that park, at that park. So what is being done in that area?
At this time, we're dealing with the comments. If you leave your number with the folks at the desk, I will give you a call back. I'll be glad to go over that and discuss it with you.
All right.
Talking about Phil Park, yo.
It doesn't matter. I'm talking about my park. I live in the Jackson Heights area. And I was told to come here. We should have both. Not only this park, but the Jackson Heights.
Let's get them first.
No, you all have a park. We
Go ahead
don't.
on, Jake.
My name is Rochester Jacobs, better known as Jake in the community, and I grew up right here in Caracas. And over 50 years ago, we played sandlot football out here on this little side area of the baseball diamond. Grew up playing basketball here, and then coached about 9 years with the Paris Football League. We had the Bears here and had a great success with a lot of the youth. And similar concerns happened some 20 plus years ago, where the Tampa Bay Jaguars Youth Football League was birthed out of the disappropriations of funds for the sports program. And the trend, or the way things seem to be tracking, is no different then than it is now. And so the unfairness about it is great presentation, but when I saw the scope of the overview of allocated budgeting and things of that nature had a 7-year microscope on it. But why not broaden that up to let us see what happened 15 years, the last 20 years? Because I understand that over the last 20 plus years, there has been money that has been allocated, budgeted, and funded for putting a new structure in place at this site. Unfortunately, I think the disappropriation of funds or disappropriation of attention still yet lingers in saying that there's a need for someone to come assess the needs. The community is speaking and giving known the needs. The thing with the football program is that the funds that were coming into this supposedly park was being reallocated to other areas. They would get new equipment. We would get the equipment passed down later. We had a varsity squad that went 13-0 and unscored. On that team, we waited 4 weeks to 6 weeks before we got equipment. They paid all their fees, and so it's the scapegoating that continues to happen in other ways. And it's time that this structure be torn down and a up-to-date facility be put in place. And just like the budget is being found for all the other projects that we had a good reference of some of the other areas of communities that are receiving the fundings. I live in North Tampa. There are some beautiful facilities out there in Carrollwood and Northdale. And it's unfair that the community where a lot of great personalities and a lot of great athletes have come out of. Al Barnes was one of my coaches. I agree that we should have something done there, but for that's just a new established park. This park has been around for over 80 years, and it's always kind of had the back seat. So it's fair and reasonable with our mayor, because I think what seems to be happening is that from mayor to mayor, it's not on the back burner. It's not even on the stove. So I think it's really fair time, because you see the frustration of the people. It's not at you all. It's about the process, and it's time that process be changed, and an urgency to expedite a legit, firm commitment. We don't need consultants' fees. We need those budget dollars going towards getting the structure up, so that the senior program, better youth programs, advancing technologies, all of the things that are trending, so that we can prepare our youth and our community for the needs that are ahead of them. And outside of the gentrification, it's very aggressive. It's forced a lot of people out of their homes, and so the story is pretty deep. The pain is very sincere and it's very deep. The urgency is even greater. So I would encourage you all to take the message back to the mayor, to put an expeditious timeline on it. I saw nothing that had any time frames. It basically projected that we were going to think about it, we're going to talk about it. So the frustration, let's not talk anymore, but let's get something committed, something firm, as you all are professional, trained, expertise in all of the areas, and you have a community that is willing to support what's going to be done good towards the neighborhood. Our seniors deserve it. This next generation needs it, got to have it. And there are a lot of men that are young people that are gathering onto the corner down there to somewhere to channel them through for a building that could redevelopment, training, and all that you may have that would better this community of this park, Fair Oaks.
John, say my name, please.
We just want to remember that we want to stick to 2 minutes, so everybody have an opportunity to express their concerns and let their voices be heard, okay? I have a timer, but I don't want to buzz it in front of everybody, so we're gonna do this.
You know when you're talking 2 minutes,
We're gonna work on this, okay? So 2 minutes, so please be cognizant about what you want to say, okay? Thank you.
Put the clock on and run the bell. Let's go.
How long the meeting gonna last? How long the meeting gonna last?
Oh, you just stand up.
How long the meeting gonna last? Anybody say how long the meeting?
Good afternoon. My name is Betty Bell. I live in Highland Pines. I have lived in East Tampa for 50 plus years. Now, tonight, I want all of you in here to understand this is not East Tampa against East Tampa. This is all East Tampa. I live in East Tampa, and whatever is good for East Tampa, I want it done here. Okay, so you want to do something for this center? Do it. But money has been allocated to build a center, a multicultural center at Al Barnes Park. I don't want that money touched. Let it stay there. You got enough money down here to take care of other stuff. So don't bother that money. Use the money that you already have in the budget with the city and take care of the needs of this park. Okay. Now, secondly, I live in Highland Pines. Mayor Iorio promised in 2007 if any work was ever done at William Park, that it would be done in Highland Pines. Highland Pines haven't been touched. But William Park has been, and I want it done with the quickness. It's not even in the budget, because I've asked. So take care of what needs to be taken care of. Do not take away what has been allocated for Al Barnes Park for the Multicultural Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Amen.
Good afternoon. My name is Craig Fox. Thank you for coming out tonight. I think anything less than a full rebuild of the park is honestly disrespectful to every resident of East Tampa. I think $3 million is a good starting point, but at the minimum, we should be doubling the size of this facility. I think, so I guess $3 million honestly isn't a good starting point. We need to go higher than that. I think a lot of things definitely need to be considered. Have a 2-story building with enough room to handle all the senior citizens activities and also all the activities that's necessary for the youth. There should definitely be a computer center here. There should be rich, visible Black history, the rich Black history of this community on display here. And I think also one thing that's very important is to also have a swimming pool. Black communities across this country have higher rates of drowning because there's centuries of segregation and racism that honestly prevent Black folks from even having access to the ability to even learn how to swim. So I think that should be something considered also. There's a lot of space on this lot. I don't know how many folks use a baseball field, but I think the next step that definitely needs to take place is getting a survey from people of what they want in a new facility. I think anything less than a new facility is honestly disrespectful to everybody. Thanks.
Good evening. Yes, I want to thank you all for coming out here tonight. And also, I've lived here for 55 years, and I stand here to represent Fair Oaks Park. I appreciate what Mayor's doing, but I speak for Fair Oaks, and I like to say, we want the money to stay there and tell Mayor, and as the lady said, I think in October, some more money supposed to come. There's no need us going on and on all night. We want a new facility. So the money that we have, as a Fair Oaks, I've been here 55 years. I think I'm about the oldest one here, something older people, okay? Right? And the money that we have, I got about 30 more seconds, and the money that we have that you're gonna give us for all that consulting and everything, we want all our money documented that you say you're gonna give us to redevelop this place here. I speak for Fair Oaks again. We don't want that. We are willing to wait if it has to be another 3 years if we can get a commitment to get a new building. Sometime waiting is good, you know? No, if it take us 3 years, thank you. If it take us 3 years, I'm speaking, if it take us 3 years, I say it again, I'm talking about the one that's hollering, that came here behind the bus, okay? I was in front of the bus. We, that's been here a long time, we are willing to wait if we are guaranteed that new building that we're supposed to have, cutting off of Caracas here, or by Penny Savers, like we're supposed to have way back that you explained first, that said the money was not there. We are willing to wait, so please tell Pam this here. I mean, Mayor Castro this here, okay? Thank you. God bless y'all.
We can give everybody time to speak. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being courteous. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tonette Gaines, and I live in this area as well. And I know that there's already been money allocated for Al Barnes, and same thing as everybody else has been saying. We move forward with that, but Fair Oaks does need a lot of renovation. Not renovation, but it need to be torn down and rebuilt. So I'm just asking that you guys look into it for the next upcoming budget year. Okay, thanks.
My name's William Mosley. I am a retired veteran, and I'm here to say that not only is the structures here in need of replacement, but they also need adequate amenities to support it. Picnic tables under a tree is not shelter. Along with those shelters should be the same amenities to include running water and electricity. You don't have to give Wi-Fi because we have our cell phones, which can provide hotspots. But I noticed that the data rate of speed is only like 2. You need at least 5 megabytes of data rate of speed to have a smartphone operate. So I'm saying, also don't start the practice of discriminating by social status, because we are also, from what I've experienced, and Mr. Gould's office has eluded me. You haven't contacted me. But I'm saying that, don't discriminate. We're not welcome in the Hispanic communities, such as Al Lopez, Rowlett Park. We're not welcome there, and they discourage us our presence by one not offering a basketball court at Rowlett Park. That's in a black community. Why would you discourage the development of black skills in basketball in a Rowlett, a park without a basketball court, but you have a soccer field? So I'm saying, don't discriminate, and give adequate support by supporting amenities, including toilet paper. Are you going to also put out a structure out here and charge for people to have power applied to the structures that you build here? I'm saying stop socially discriminating and give to the community what the community deserves. Because I served my country with the hopes that I could retire and maybe play chessboard, but they don't have chessboards anymore. We have to use our smartphones. Call me.
How you doing? I'm Sherman. I'd like to tell you a thing about the seniors.
Please, if everybody could let the gentleman speak.
We have
everyone. Thank you.
We have a senior program here that comes during the students, while the kids are in school. Summer, the seniors stop. They don't have anywhere to go. This park is not big enough for both. This park needs to be towed down, like you're saying, and added on. They need a bigger structure here for more activities. Why should the kids have the park all year and the seniors have nothing to do during the summer? They need somewhere to go to. You got a lot of seniors in this area. A lot of them don't even know the senior program is out here. Nobody's reaching out, trying to even let them know that they have a senior program here. There need to be more notifications of what's going on at the park. You would have a better turnout of the programs that's going on out here if you had a bigger park and more activities. As of the years that I've been coming around and been coming out here, which has been all my life, they added on to this pond over here. I watched, they had programs every morning. As the years went on, programs came and go. There's not much out here now. This park needs to be towed down. Not just towed down and added, built back the way it is. Added on bigger, more activities.
Thank you.
My name is Devorah Watson. I've been coming to this park since I was a baby. This building has pretty much been the same since my teenage years, and I'm 40 right now. I come to work I come to work out at this building every day. I'm a football coach here. My babies need this field better. Ain't no baseball field like how it used to be. It's raggedy, it's potholes, it's Santa Spurs. We need a new field. This building need to be towed down. The doors rusted. How long you think it take for a metal door to rust? A long time, right? So, you know what I'm saying? We got to tear this building down. It's a park for the kids, right? So make it right for the kids. That's all I want to say. Get it right for the kids.
Good evening. Y'all have heard everybody tell y'all what they feel you need. I'm going to tell you what I've observed. I've lived over here. I'm 43 years old. I came and took African dance at this park. I've been here my whole life. And I was taught as a child and see it evident now. Your actions show your intent. So as it stands, it's good that you can nod and y'all can tell us whatever, but it's intentional. The neglect is intentional because it's happened over the last 12 years that you put on the screen here. Okay, I see the history that you go through, and you all spent $300,000 on an assessment of logistics and asset management. Wasn't specific about if it was specific to this park or all parks. There was a lot of information left out. I'm just saying what I saw, okay, in my 2 minutes, right? So the plan that you have for the park costs less than the assessment. How does that work? We have two parks that everybody have referenced regarding Riverfront and Waterworks, but you also have the Perry Skate Park down there. You got $3 million parks within a 3-mile radius of each other. And it's kind of like you're telling us, if we do this, then you can't have this. No, we can have it all. We deserve it all. You need to do what's right, period.
Good afternoon. I'm here basically to speak about our children. And this park has a football and cheer program that has been around probably as long as the park has been here. I have been with this park ever since Mr. Artis Gambrell was president of the Fair Oaks Rattlers, so I've been here about 10 years. I have always said we're the cheapest babysitters in the world because we have your child from July until December. We do not have any support from the city to help us keep this park going, keep the football and cheer program going, keep our children out of the streets from 5 to 14 years old. I remember, I'm gonna make this short. I remember one practice. It was thundering and lightning. Very, very bad. Our children could not come inside of the building because they did not have rec cards. So I would ask you, when you're planning and forming everything, if you can leave some money out so we can pay for the rec cards for our children, so our cheerleaders won't have to practice out there in the rain. That we can have mats for our cheerleaders, that we can have proper equipment for our football players. That's all I'm asking. I know it's got to be, I pay taxes. I work for Hillsborough County. I know it's money in there because I help with the budget for Hillsborough County, so I know it's money there. All I'm asking is please help us help our children.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Claudia. I've been in this area my entire life. I'll be 52 this year. And I've heard what everybody said. But what I want to know from all of you standing here, all of you that got voted into office, is this a place you would want your children, your grandchildren, your mother, your father to come to this center? Because I've been all over Tampa. East Tampa has the worst parks in Tampa. Everybody here pay property taxes. You can't come on the park grounds on the weekend because they locked. But when you look on your property assessment, and I have a couple properties in this area that I pay taxes on, I see it on there where money's coming out of my taxes and it's allocated to the city. So my question is, why are y'all charging people to come to the park? First of all. Second of all, where is the money going? Because it's not coming back in the parks. Third of all, what y'all are gonna do about it? Because what y'all saying, it doesn't work. You can put a Band-Aid on things all day, but if y'all walked around this neighborhood, put code enforcement on people, you go out there and make them fix their stuff up, you tear down their houses when they're not up to par, but then y'all want to sit here and say, oh, we're gonna put a Band-Aid on it again. We don't want a Band-Aid. We want it tore down and replaced. And we don't want a small building that's the size of a shed compared to these other playgrounds. We want something equal to what everybody else has.
That's right.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, but y'all done heard me over here. We moved in this neighborhood back in 1960. I went to Porter, Young, Chamberlain, Dwight Gooden, Gary Sheffield, Vance Loveley, a lot of football players. Moses White had the house right here and the house right here. You understand me? This was my first coach right here back in the days, Mr. Artis here. You feel me? Now, I retired from the city of Tampa. I did 42 years. I done 42 years. I seen every park built, every park. It started with the NFL Center right here. How y'all gonna go from the NFL Center, go to Suffolk Springs, and build all that stuff out here and just walk over us? Now you said it's all right. Where you live at? Where you live at? You come in with that smiling and stuff. We ain't with all that no more, man. We want justice, brother. I wasn't gonna say nothing. You need to tear this thing down. I mean, to the ground. Get the rest out of here. They gonna leave when they tear it down. If you go over, you got some in the corner running right now, looking at y'all, trying to get a ride to your house. Since you want us to keep them, give us something that we deserve, man. You know, give us something new for a change. Ain't nothing like nothing new. Y'all got it in y'all neighborhood. Y'all don't want us there with nothing, no cars, no nothing. We ain't riding no boats to the back of the bus no more. We ain't going for no nothing no more. We want everything that y'all deserve to give us. We ain't begging for nothing. We ain't actually give it to us.
You pay taxes.
And my name is Deacon Henry Baker. My bishop is over there, Michelle Fitzpatrick. That's she up right there.
People
Hall
who
of Fame in 2013.
People who know me know that I don't usually talk in front of groups. I did 43 years with the City of Tampa Parks and Recreation Department. I did 41 years here at Fair Oaks since I was 15 years old.
Come on, man.
It kind of get offended a few minutes ago when Brad said this building is in good shape.
Come on, let's go, Ronnie. You know the building.
I was here when they built it. If you pull that baseboard up, water comes between the metal and the floor. The roof leaks forever. That's where the rats live at. So how can you, and you go back to your history, when I was here, it was $1.6 million allocated to close that road.
Yes, it was.
To tear this down, and it disappeared. I don't know where it went. The rumors had it went to New Tampa. I don't know. But they gave us $200,000 or whatever to paint the building.
Come on.
That's not what it is. This building been like this since they built it.
Yes,
This building, you been to Kate Jackson?
Come on, man.
Kate Jackson and this building are prototypes. Same building.
Come on.
But do it look the same?
New Tampa, freedom, ride freedom, skateboard and everything.
I get emotional.
I know where the money went at.
I bet you that roof still leaks. I saw a picture today of one of the rats. Did y'all say no rats out here?
Come on.
Have you seen the picture? The picture that Kareem got with the rat in the little black box? Big as a cat?
He told that.
But that's what happens is that people say it's in good shape. It is not in good shape. I guarantee you, if you pull them baseboards up, there's water under them baseboards. I guarantee you that roof is still leaking. Fair Oaks used to have 400 kids a day during the summer. I know that sounds kind of unbelievable, but I was able to move staff to accommodate. We had 45 seniors that came every day. But what they gonna come to? Same building. And you talking about it's in good shape. So what that mean? We're gonna put another Band-Aid on it? We're gonna paint it again? We're gonna put some more carpet down? When are we gonna get what we deserve?
Everything.
And what happened to the $1.6 million?
Again, we went through the history of the funding with that. We already know about that. So we've addressed that already, but I'd be glad to speak to the time of the details of it.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. They came out and consultants did a thing on closing this road. They even went and see how much it costs to buy property. We went through all that. So where did it go? We got $200,000 to paint and put carpet down. I don't understand that.
Thank you, sir.
But for Brad, and I know Brad well, to say this building's in good shape, what the heck?
Thank you, sir.
They're gonna tell them anything no more.
The bell wrong?
Yes. Well overdue. Thank you.
But damn, everybody else talk longer than they want.
We don't
Now-
Good evening. I won't be long. I've lived in Jackson Heights for 20 years. I've owned a home. My mother lives in a house across the street from me. My son plays soccer. I dance. I go to JCC. I go to, I just go any place else but any of our rec centers or parks here. My kids, my grandchild, I wouldn't send them here. This is the first time I've been in this building. It just says that they don't have what I need. And I can tell that who else does. I don't even let my mom come here. I'll pay $65 and go to JCC first. That says a whole lot. Thank you.
All right. Hello. My name is Sister Connie Burton, and I want to say this. They say if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu, right? This community has been the menu. A city that has a $1 billion budget right now, I don't see no need to wait. Wait for what? Either you're going to do it or you're not. And we are talking to you, but we're really talking to the mayor. We're really talking to the mayor. We've got to this place now that we got a riffle in our community because people allocated money for another part that wasn't on the menu, but only to satisfy a certain group. That's how we got here. And all that those who want to wait until the mayor come and pat them on the head, that's their business. I'm not that person. I am the person that shows up with others to come down to that city council every week to say that our community deserves to have it all. And we are in that moment right now. Yes, we see a $35 million park, riverfront, that mayor gone. The other one promised something, they gone. This one promised something, and his opponent promised something, one dead, and she's still here. We are determined to have a world-class center right here. Today at the city council meeting, for those that take time to come down there, they laid out the whole plan of showing a regional strategic, well, the state of the region. Black people last in the bottom of everything. Wages, housing, our children living in poverty. I ain't make it up. They paid for a study. So what we're saying right now to the mayor, to the councilman, y'all want our votes? You got 4 years, the clock is turning. If we do not get a park by this next election cycle, you can't come back and tell us no more, it's on the menu. We want it now. And we don't want nobody to make no $600,000 in no assessment, because we can tell you, give us a piece of paper, we'll write it down right now. We want the park. And we are determined, and we plan on being determined even more all the way up to the Super Bowl. Because we are determined to show those that are coming to this city the state of affairs of black people. We are being gentrified, we are being pushed out, we are being criminalized. Our children has no hope. And the 3 councilmen that's here tonight, I'm talking directly to all 3 of y'all. All 3 of y'all, because we grown people. We are grown people. We're in desperate need right now. So this ain't no begging ploy from me. I'm here to tell you that as servants of the people, the mayor chart says it goes from the people down to the mayor, down to the other levels of management. We the boss. Get the park, and we mean get it right now. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank y'all for coming out here for this, and I want to thank you for responding to our request every time we go down to city council. But let me tell you this. We're supposed to be coming to a park, but it's a shameful God I got to come to a park that got bars on the windows that look like a jailhouse. What do you think that feels like to a child that comes here to play, or an elderly person that's trying to look out and can't even see no sunlight? Do you have bars on your windows at your park? Do it look like that? And let me tell you this. It's a shameful God that you put this display up here of this dog and pony show. That's a shameful God. That hurts. That's telling us that you don't even care about us. This park needs to be repaired, refixed, redone right now. I don't care what nobody else say, but let me tell you this. I was born and raised in this park. Mama, can I go to the park? Go down there, baby. Had to come back home for the porch lights come on. But it's the shame, that same swing set done scraped up all my knees. It's still out to that park. But I bet you got a new park, a new dog park, a new sound system park for all the autistic children and all these other things. I bet you got all that out to your park. We ain't got none of that. We got special need kids out here too. We got elderly kids that's in wheelchairs. We got elderly people on wheelchairs. But I bet you got all the full ADA accessible things. But you sit here and talk about something. People can walk out there and turn their ankle. Now that's a shame for God that the city of Tampa is letting black folks live like this. But you got a mayor that stand up there and get her State of the Union speech or State of the City speech and talking about something. This a diverse city. Where the diversity at? Tell me where we feel welcome at. Tell me you shouldn't feel our anger. Tell me. I want to know how in the world, and I was going to say something else, you going to sleep tonight. Because if you tell me you going home to sleep tonight, then you ain't got no conscience and no soul that we have to live this way.
Good evening.
Oh, Lord, where the CRA dollars? That's what we did. Everybody in here pay taxpayer dollars. Get them CRA dollars.
Good evening. I'm Bishop Michelle B. Patty. I'm also the host of What's Really Happening on WTMP. And I want to thank this community for coming out. Now let's give a little history about how we got here tonight. Because first of all, the CRA tried to do a little 11-day notice to this community, but because of what's really happening and the voices of the people said no, we were not going to come out in 11 days and 5 people show up and then you all say nobody care. So that's how we got here, because we forced the city to do what was correct and give proper notice as to this meeting. So that's why this room is full, because they didn't want people to know that black folks care about black folks and black children. So that's how we got here. Now let me say to those, I make no apology for going down to city council just about every Thursday with Sister Connie, with Brother Jay, and others, the NAACP. We make no apology for speaking up on behalf of this community. I understand the Willie Lynch syndrome. I understand that everybody didn't want to leave the plantation when they were told they were free. But we are free people. We are demanding that this be torn down, and it was me, I'ma claim it, that I asked the Councilman Orlando Goose to make a motion to bring Fair Oaks back here to the table because it was not on the menu. So let's tell the truth to this community how we got here. Now, one of the things we do know, the Super Bowl is on its way, and I don't think the world need to see black folks speaking up, doing a picket, doing a protest, because we can't have a park for our children. Now, anybody that knows me know I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. So if you don't do it, and I'm hoping that I have some bold people that will stand up and ready to march, ready to demand what we deserve. We are taxpayers. You don't give us less because our zip code. You charge us even more because of it. So now we want to tell the mayor we appreciate her preemptive strike, because she struck before the meeting. Y'all that don't have a Florida Central Bulletin, she already put it in the newspaper before Friday that she was going to send this. But because of Lil Bird, I got the paper. We like that. We appreciate the councilman. But we want this torn down. We want it torn down now. And we want a center that is like everybody else in this city. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you coming. We're not killing the messenger. We just sending the message back.
Good evening. I'm Pastor Chisholm from East Tampa. I am a resident. This building is absolutely unnecessary for modern living and usage. It's not healthy for consideration. but it is healthy for construction. So let's stop talking about it. Let's stop debating about it. Let's get to work. Let us execute. Talking is not going to make it happen. Don't put a Band-Aid on it. We do not need repairs. We need construction. Demolish and construction. And we will settle for nothing else and nothing less.
Amen. Thank you.
Look, I ain't from the east side. I sold all my property over here. I'm gonna just say what I'm gonna say. Now I ain't got no fight in this, but let me just explain it to you from an engineering standpoint. Is this building over 5,000 square feet? Why ain't no damn sprinkler system in here? If it was a fire right now, them things up there, everybody'll burn up and be dead. This building has code violations. It don't even meet the audible. The person that's deaf is supposed to have flashing lights. This building is a death trap if a major fire occurred in here. It should have a sprinkler system. Now I know, because I designed, believe it or not, it was a basketball court and an old raggedy baseball field at 1000 Eskimo Street. That's Spring Hill Community Center now. 14,000 square feet. Costs almost about $4 million. Then they went and got Cal Ripken to get $100,000 to fix up the baseball field. And when we got done with Spring Hill, it's got a gymnasium. Y'all want a gymnasium, man? What the hell? You need a gymnasium over here, indoor. So when it rains, you can still be playing basketball. You can still have events. A kitchen like they got over there. And everything else. This building is a safety death trap. Matter of fact, if code enforcement come over here, they ought to shut it down.